What's up, Raptors fans? Welcome to the Warriors Report. I know it's been a while since I've posted consistently, guys. I've been just taking a little bit of a break from making YouTube videos, just kind of taking a little bit of a break from the computer and just enjoying my time away from making YouTube videos, just taking a little bit of a break from my mental health, just kind of relax a little bit. But it's time to get back to the Raptors grind. It's time to talk about which point guard makes the most sense for the Toronto Raptors. Now, I know recency bias will be the quick answer will be Delano Banton. A lot of people will say there's no point of this video, but I'm going to be discussing some viewpoints between Delano Banton, Jeff Dowtin, as well as not the very much liked Malachi Flynn. I'm going to kind of highlight their statistics through preseason, as well as go through a very nice chart, which I'm going to be going through each category, and I'm going to be talking about who fits that category the best, who's the best at it, and ultimately give you my final verdict for which of these point guards will be the backup point guard, but also just to discuss some of the different aspects of the game that each of these point guards brings to the Toronto Raptors. So if you're ready to watch this video, guys, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Let's try to get this video to 100 likes. And if you want to join a fun YouTuber community, which always engages in the comment section, on a YouTuber that actually likes to respond to his comments and not only just read them and ignore them, this is definitely the channel for you. So make sure to hit the subscribe button as well. And with that being said, let's get into today's video. Now, as you guys know, I do like to give out shout outs on my channel. And for today's video, the shout out goes out to Todd Stevens. So Todd, thank you so much for supporting this channel through likes and comments. It is very much appreciated. Now, this entire offseason, what we heard a lot of Raptors fans essentially say was Masai needs a backup. Masai needs to get a backup point guard. And I had preached this. Anyone who's been following this channel, I know you have been hearing this, that the Raptors don't need a point guard. Not only are the Raptors going to be running Scottie Barnes and Pascal Siakam at the point guard position, but also because you wanted to develop guys like Delano Banton and Malachi Flynn. That is one of the reasons I highlighted, and you're seeing it right now. Although it's just preseason, there's still so much to discuss regarding all of these point guards that I'm going to highlight in today's video. So let's quickly take a look at their chart and what they have been presenting so far in preseason. And when you take a look at the stats here, you take a look at Delano Banton, Jeff Dowtin, and Malachi Flynn as well. And I know he doesn't really get a lot of love from a lot of Raptors fans, and a lot of fans realistically think that he should be waived. But I need you to remind yourselves that a lot of people were actually saying the same for Delano Banton. And their summer league, when he was turning the ball over, a lot of people were saying he's not fit for this team. He's not going to improve. Just get rid of him. So have some patience, guys. I know recency bias is a big thing with NBA fans, but touching upon the statistics here, you take a look. Malachi Flynn obviously just played that one game before getting an injury. He averaged 8 points, 60% from the field, which was nice. And he shot, I believe, 202 from the three-point line, which is why he's 100% from the three-point line. But the other two guys, they have a bigger sample size. 4 games played each, 14 minutes and 10 minutes respectively for Jeff Dowtin, 10.5 points per game, 1.5 assists, 3.2 rebounds for Delano Banton. 62% from the field is absolutely beautiful to see, because we know there's been a lot of questions around his shooting overall, but obviously a lot of his shots do come at the rim or nearby the rim. So again, a still very impressive stat for Delano Banton. Not only is he producing points in only 14 minutes, need to remind you, 14 minutes a game, he's also doing it very efficiently. Obviously, his three-point shooting has not been that great. And when you take a look at Jeff Dowtin, I'm going to break down some points here in just a second. But same thing with him. 4 minutes, or excuse me, I should say 4 games played, 10.7 minutes, 6 points, 1.7 assists, 2 rebounds. And again, for someone who's listed at around 6'3", 53% is very efficient. Now, again, the only issue is they're not hitting the three-point ball. And I want to quickly highlight the reason why their assists are so far down is because the Raptors have been struggling shooting the ball this preseason. They've been making absolutely little to no threes, which is why it makes sense why their assist numbers may be lower than usual. Now, to talk about these statistics, I just kind of wanted to give you an idea briefly, just touch upon their statistics. But the main point I want to talk about in this video was go through some of these categories listed here. Now, I'm going to quickly go through these categories just to kind of define what I'm looking for. Shooting, no-brainer. Who's the best shooter out of these? Playmaking, obviously, who can get their teammates involved. Playmaking. Now, pace. What I mean by pace is who controls the tempo of the game the best. Who is going to be the one, if you were to give the ball to each of these players and give them about 5 minutes in the game? Who controls the pace of the game the best? Ball handling, that's a no-brainer. Size, speed, defense, again, that's not a no-brainer. Most people know what that is. So going through these categories, I think without a doubt, first thing, the shooting is Malachi Flynn. This is absolutely a no-brainer when we talk about him being the best shooter out of all these guys. I know there's been a lot of percentages that people will point to last season of him not being a really good shooter. But guys, let's be honest. If you need three-point shooting from your point guard position, that's definitely Malachi Flynn. Jeff Dowtin, throughout his career, has struggled shooting the ball from the three, and we know Delano Banton is a work in progress. Now, talking about playmaking, I think this is a little bit of a difficult one because Delano Banton, we've seen what he's capable of doing passing-wise. He's improving a lot, but I think this one has to go to Jeff Dowtin. Jeff Dowtin is one of those players that just makes the right plays, makes the right passes. And you see that quite often, even though he is playing limited minutes in preseason, he's making the right decisions and making the ultimately the best decisions for his teammates. Sometimes you see guys that are trying to make the team. I know he's already made the team, but sometimes guys that want more minutes play a little bit more selfishly. That's not the case with Jeff Dowtin. He makes the right plays. He knows when to shoot. He knows when to pass. That's what makes him a really good backup point guard potential. Now, talking about pace, again, like I said, if you were to give the ball to one of these guys and who controls the tempo the best, I think this one also has to go to Jeff Dowtin undoubtedly as well. When you talk about pace and who's able to really just in half court offenses. I want to set half court offenses because obviously transition is a different scenario. But talking about half court offenses, you give the ball to one of these guys. I think Jeff Dowtin undoubtedly is the better of the three in pace. Now, in terms of ball handling skills, this one is a little bit questionable. Obviously, you can go either way. I think Malachi Flynn is a little bit underrated. He's not the best ball handler here. But this one, again, I would give it to Jeff Dowtin. Delano Banton had a lot of questions coming into this season, but even last season, we saw him turn the ball over a lot. And obviously, he's cut down those turnovers quite a bit in the 4 preseason games he has played. But I would still give the ball handling just a little bit more to Jeff Dowtin over Delano Banton. Now, size, this is an absolute no-brainer, guys. This is Delano Banton. He provides the best size out of all of these guys. He has more size. He's taller, lengthier. He gives him better size. And same thing with speed. This one, again, I know Malachi Flynn is really fast. Jeff Dowtin has his explosive moments as well. But speed-wise has to go to Delano Banton as well. There's no doubt about it that he has more speed than anyone. And just when you see him run down the court, it's absolutely fabulous to see how quickly he can get down the court. Now, again, defense, this one you can definitely make an argument between Jeff Dowtin and Delano Banton. I know Malachi Flynn isn't no slouch, even though he's undersized for a point guard. This is definitely something that you need to highlight, that there's so many variables to defense. It's not just one-on-one defense. It's team help defense, is how that player plays defense with help defense. There's so much to go into this. And again, this one absolutely has to go to Jeff Dowtin. Excuse me, I should say Delano Banton as well. Jeff Dowtin, I haven't seen too much of a defense. I know he's a pretty decent defender from what I've seen in the limited minutes I've seen him. Malachi Flynn is a good one-on-one defender. He's not really a good team defense guy, I would say. But I think if you had to choose one of these guys, it's Delano Banton. Now, I say this because I wanted to highlight some points here before we make a decision, just jump on Delano Banton or someone else. I think ultimately each of these guys gives you something different. If you wanted half-court offense, even you could throw Malachi Flynn in there. I know he doesn't get a lot of love from Raptors fans, but he has the capabilities, guys. His player comparison was Fred VanVleet. At least I said so, and I really still do think so. In half-court offenses, that's definitely the guy for you, and he can shoot the three-point ball as well. And I actually think with Malachi Flynn, Delano Banton, Jeff Dowtin, I don't think there's one clear-cut answer. I know obviously Delano Banton looks like the best answer right now, but I actually think you could rotate and different scenarios, different situations. I think you can play certain guys. Jeff Dowtin and Delano Banton, I actually believe you can play these guys together. It would really suit both of these guys because Jeff Dowtin can play the shooting guard position. I know he's a little bit undersized, but you make up for that size at the point guard position when you play Delano Banton. And same thing with Delano Banton and Malachi Flynn. I think they would really feed off of each other. Again, the only question is, would Nick Nurse actually want to play these two together? Delano Banton is great at attacking the rim. Malachi Flynn is a good three-point shooter, so that works out in favor of both of these guys. So again, if you had to pick one, obviously the obvious choice would be Delano Banton. In half-court offense, you could argue Jeff Dowtin would make the more sense even over Malachi Flynn, but this is one of the reasons why I kept highlighting throughout this offseason is that do not, I repeat, do not sign a backup point guard. You need to give Malachi Flynn and Delano some developing minutes, but also because you got Scotty Barnes, who also needs some developing minutes at the point guard position at the NBA level. And then you have Pascal Siakam, who can also handle the ball. So I think it's obvious that each of these guys brings a little bit different to the table. I know a lot of people in the comment section are going to jump at me and say that Jeff Dowtin and Delano Banton are the obvious choices. Get rid of Malachi Flynn. All I will say, guys, quit the recency bias. There's times where you guys have stated that you want to get rid of Delano Banton. Not everyone's hopping on the bandwagon. And if he has a few games, the people are going to go back to repeating that as well. So I want to stay a little bit level-headed and not have these crazy over-the-top ESPN reactions where 5 games or a few bad plays. I think these guys are still very young players that are going to continue to develop. Again, the only question remains is Nick Nurse. Who is he going to give the minutes to? And is he willing to give Malachi Flynn even any minutes or even Jeff Dowtin? Has Jeff Doughton bought the trust of Nick Nurse yet? We'll have to wait and see what happens. But personally, I'm excited. I think each of these players has their own unique style of play. Obviously, the transition game is great for Delano Banton. I think that suits him the best. Malachi Flynn and Jeff Doughton, you can play a little bit more in the half-court offense. I think it makes sense. So that's just my personal opinion. But I do want to hear from you guys. I wanted to make this fun video, just kind of go through a few categories. I think it's good to keep all three of them, just kind of develop and see where this team goes. And we'll see what happens as the regular season gets closer and closer. But I do want to hear your thoughts. What are your thoughts on who should be the backup point guard? Do you think there's a definitive answer? Or do you think we could split up the minutes and maybe potentially even play some of these guys together? That's all I will say. And one more point, guys, actually, before I do end it off, I do want to say Delano Banton and Jeff Doughton. When we talk about those stats, Delano Banton was also playing up against some of the NBA starters and also bench players as well. Whereas Jeff Doughton, I know at times we've seen him against bench players, but for the most part, he was playing against lesser talented players. So that is the only points I will make. Not to take a shot at Jeff Doughton. I think he's a very talented player, but those are just some of the key points I also wanted to highlight. So I do want to hear from you guys. Make sure to leave your thoughts down in the comment section below. And as always, guys, I do have a trivia question for you today. And that trivia question is, who leads the Raptors in rebounds per game in preseason? Is it A, Scotty Barnes? Is it B, Pascal Siakam? Is it C, Precious Achiuwa? Is it D, Chris Boucher? And I've actually added another option. Is it E, Christian Koloko? So whoever answers this trivia question correctly first in the comment section gets a shout out in my next video. So that will be it for today's video, guys. So thank you so much for watching this video. Happy Thanksgiving, and I hope you guys have yourselves a great day.